Hi, this is Eric Schlein. You are listening to the Intelligent Investing Podcast, and today we have a very interesting guest on. His name is Viktor Nebehaj. He is the founder or co-founder, rather, of Freetrade .io. And Viktor, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, Eric, thanks for having me on.
Now, Viktor, where you have a little bit of an accent. Where are you from?
I would think I have a major accent. So whenever I hear myself recorded, that always comes out. I'm actually originally from Hungary, so
Okay.
Eastern Europe, born and bred there. I grew up there. And then back in 2004, when we were joining basically the best thing that ever happened to me. I figured out that you could work either in the United Kingdom, in Ireland, or in Sweden, without any papers or like permits or anything like that. So I always wanted to work on the internet. That was like relatively new at the time. All my peers from university, they wanted to work in like banking and finance, which I did not quite understand at that time. This like whole internet thing was just like so exciting. So I actually discovered the great opportunity at Google, which was a relatively somewhat smaller company at the time.
When were you working? When were you at Google? Because you were a pretty early Googler. So when were you at Google?
Yeah, I joined in 2005. Okay. So I was one of the first 100 employees in Europe.
Did I lose you? Your connection is a little choppy, yeah. Viktor.
Oh yeah, I apologize. Actually, I'm paying for like the best possible broadband over here in London, but it's still choppy.
Got it. No problem. If there's any issues,
it should be better now.
It's better. Yeah, it was just a little thing. So you were at Google, and what were you doing at Google?
What I was doing at Google, so I was actually recruited to this like super secret team that, you know, in the end it turned out that it was all about reviewing engineers' data. So basically there was like an infinite list of websites across the entire internet at the time, from Germany, Hungary as well. And basically my team was reviewing those websites, whether they were high quality, low quality. And then eventually we built it out that we, you know, started to become more technical as a team, sort of more engineering-like. And we started building code that sort of reviewed these websites for us at scale. So we kind of built it up nicely. I spent some time in Mountain View, California as well. I went to Hyderabad, India with Google. So I had a great time, 7 years there. So some of the best years of my life.
And what was that like being there, you know, in some of the earlier years for Google? Could you give us a little bit more insight into that experience?
Oh, very different. So one of the main things, like looking back now, you know, I continued working in tech and I'm in fintech now, is just we are incredibly coddled. Like people have a really nice life and they work in tech. The compensation, the perks, all that sort of stuff. None of that really existed at the time. You know, when I actually joined, they had this strange system of an 11-month contract, which is very unusual. Like everyone would have a full-time contract in Europe, kind of like a trial period. If you perform well, you convert it to a permanent contract. None of the free food or anything like that later Google became famous for. But it was very exciting at the same time, very unstructured, lots of opportunities. Basically, it was really entrepreneurial. If you had initiative, if you worked on things and progressed things forward, you got promoted really fast. So it was a very different time. Now Google is a really structured multinational company.
Did you ever get to meet either of the co-founders when you were out there?
Any of the co-founders? Well, actually, so at one time I had a meeting room and Larry was there and he realized with his team that, oh yeah, these guys have the meeting room booked. So he gave. That was very nice. That was my basically single interaction with them.
You just broke up those last 10 seconds. Yeah, so you said you had the room, and then what happened from there? You just cut off.
Oh yeah. So Larry and his team was in that meeting room, and we were waiting on that because we booked it. And he realized that we had the meeting room, so he kind of gave up. Like very kind of like modest guy. Oh, you guys have this
Yeah.
meeting room, please take it. That was my only interaction.
Okay. Cool.
Unfortunately, nothing more substantial than that.
So then, what had you leave Google?
What had me leave? Yeah, great question. Because why would you leave, right? You are sitting pretty. I was basically the reason I left. I was still hungry. It was my first real job, and after 7 years, I felt that my learning plateaued. I wasn't really like learning, and I was still very curious about the outside world. I thought that I should do more interesting things than looking at websites and kind of like building up this team. So I was like, yeah, why not moving from a really specialist, kind of like very niche kind of role. I just wanted to do something more, I guess, complete or substantial.
And where did you go from there?
I had a great opportunity in Hong Kong, so I wanted to move to Asia, and I joined this digital marketing agency to head up the search engine optimization team there. And my biggest client, which is not an extremely exciting brand, but really big, and they have a lot of money. So what we did, we were taking over that account, the General Motors account, from a different agency. So it was basically the biggest digital media takeover between agencies at the time. And yeah, that was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. It was my first time like properly living in Asia, in Hong Kong of all places, which is a really great spot. I can highly recommend it. I went to China quite a lot. That's where my clients were sitting at the time. And yeah, I had a great time. I learned a lot, particularly all things around SEO. Unfortunately, my girlfriend did not find a role in Hong Kong. So after a year, we moved back to Europe. And we actually did an MBA, which was another thing on my bucket list.
So now you're running Freetrade, or you're doing marketing for them, but you are a co-founder. Just before we get into kind of how you started that, just for the listeners, tell us what Freetrade is. What is this business that you have?
Yeah, we're basically a challenger stockbroker, commission-free broker. You might be able to think of a large American equivalent that tried to expand to the UK recently, and they could not. So that's probably a good equivalent. So you can buy and sell stocks and ETFs commission-free in Freetrade, both the US and the London Stock Exchange, US markets and UK markets.
Yeah. Now, how did you get started? I mean, it's an interesting pivot going from Google and then SEO stuff to I'm going to start a commission-free brokerage house. How does that work?
Yeah, that's a little bit of an insane story.
Right. Yeah.
I agree. You kind of have to sit down to to prepare. So basically, what happened? I moved to London with my girlfriend. She basically joined Google again. She's head of strategy for Android now. She's having a great time, a great role. And I was, kind of like looking for opportunities. Pretty soon I got into investing because I discovered Crowdfund. That's the main equity crowdfunding platform in the UK. And I was like, this is fantastic. You can pretty much be an angel investor, but you don't have to have hundreds of thousands of pounds. You don't have to have your own solicitor. You don't have to have your deal flow. Basically, just go to the platform. You find the startups and you invest £10, £10,000, whatever amount makes sense to you. So I started using some of my Google shares, stock options that I sold. I basically started to reinvest into startups, both public shares as well, but startups thanks to Crowdcube. And I managed to invest in the very first equity crowdfunding round of Monzo. That's a neobank, probably Chime is very similar in the States, and Revolut that I think just recently launched in the US. I think they have a fair amount of customers. So both of these investments actually worked out great. In retrospect, I did not know at the time. And my third investment was Freetrade. So Freetrade was pretty much our founder, Adam, founder and CEO at the time, and a pitch deck. So it popped up on my feed on the website, and I was like, this is fantastic. I moved to the UK. I was looking for a service like that. And I thought the UK was a sophisticated financial market, and there was nothing like that. Only clunky old companies charging like £12 per trade, maybe like $10, something like that. It's just insanely expensive. If you invest like £100, it doesn't even make sense to get started. So I was looking for something like that, and there it was. And then
so hold on
my bank
so
accounts.
it already was existing, and then you invested in it, or explain that.
Yeah, it already existed as an idea. So it was a pitch deck, right? And
so it was a pitch deck as an idea,
product.
but it wasn't in reality yet.
It wasn't a product
Okay,
yet.
got it.
Wasn't.
Okay.
It was a concept.
So
Adam
in this crowdfunding site, is it that you're investing in these startups that you invest? Are you basically giving like the seed capital for these pitch decks where there's nothing there? So it's like the initial capital. Is that how this website works?
It depends on the startup.
Okay.
Some startups raise even before they have a product. That was the case with Freetrade as well.
Got it.
Some other startups already have a product, sometimes in beta testing, sometimes a fully fledged product. It really depends.
So interesting.
Some startups raise as part of that Series A.
Right. So you really can be like literally an angel investor from the ground up from this kind of platform. That's kind of cool. So anyway, I just wanted some clarity there. Yeah. So you put some sense. So you put some money into this freetrade.io or Freetrade idea. You see the pitch deck. You like the pitch deck, and then so tell us the story now. So what happens after this? You put some money in.
Yeah, and not just some money, Eric. I basically looked across my bank accounts, and I was like, what is like the maximum I can like pledge right now? So basically, I pulled all the money from all my bank accounts. I was left with like £15 until the end of the month. So I was hoping my girlfriend would spot me if that money gets immediately deducted. It actually turned out I was the first investor who invested more than £1,000 and wasn't a friend or a family member. That caught Adam's eye, and one of us reached out to the other, and we met up in one of the viewers where Adam was based at that time, at the point. And I just wanted to shake the hand of the guy who, came up with this idea and was like giving up his secure job to pursue it, basically. And I was really impressed how prepared he was. He knew the industry really well, the competitors, all the kind of like different companies that were pursuing this idea at the time. None of them really succeeded since. And yeah, I was really impressed. So I sent him an email later, like, look, Adam, you might need a growth marketing guy. Can I please throw my hat in the ring? Kind of like hat in hand, like, can I be your, please, can I join you?
Yeah.
And I cleared an interview, and then I passed that, and then I joined him full time as a first employee at the time. And basically, he decided that I was there so early on that he just made me a co-founder, which was an honor.
And what year was this?
What year? 2017.
Okay. So then you get more involved, right? So now you've given some initial seed capital. You're now doing, put your hat in the ring to do marketing. Why have you guys succeeded where you said a lot of your competitors have, gone by the wayside now? What makes you guys different?
Well, we decided to go the hard way. When you are in fintech, right? There are a lot of incumbent companies who already built the tech, maybe like 30 years ago, but they have the tech, they have an actual stockbroking like platform that works, right? And they have like big operational teams and all that sort of stuff. And basically we decided, like, instead of being like a user interface on top of another company, which is typically what you would do as a fintech.
So that's the easy way? Like, that would be the easy way?
That would be the easy way, yeah. Okay. Being the partner of like a stockbroker or a provider. Sure. So basically we decided, okay, it's going to take more time. It's going to like make basically all our engineers busy, but we are going to build a platform. So we started building an actual brokerage platform that does the clearing, settlement, all that sort of heavy lifting. And after 1.5 years, we actually did it. In the meantime, we managed to launch kind of like small scale as we were building out this platform. initially with a service provider, and as soon as we could, we migrated from that service provider to our own platform. And we built out a proper operations team, customer operations as well. So we have a proper customer service. We are really proud how much we invested into that. It's about your money, so it makes sense to have a proper customer service, but also brokerage operations, compliance. We actually built out all of these things. We are a tech company, but we are a stockbroker at the same time. We think that really helped us, and we continuously talked about the story of that from a marketing perspective. We managed to build a community primarily out of our equity crowdfunding investors. They are very invested in our success. They are really passionate. Sometimes, borderline overly passionate about Freetrade and its success. And we managed to build up a really passionate, loyal community out of those people. That was really helpful because basically we did not spend on advertising. The way we grew, we basically told people, well, just, refer a friend. And we started giving a free stock reward, like a random share, if you refer a friend, both for you and your friend. And that worked fantastically well to incentivize word of mouth.
Interesting. So how are you different than, say, like Robinhood?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get it all the time when I talk with friends in the US. So what I would say, so if you look at, let's say, them and us, we are optimizing more for investing as opposed to like frequent trading activity. I think there is a lot of merit if somebody understands the risks, they are educated, go ahead and trade, whether that's like hardcore day trading or kind of like momentum sort of stuff. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. But the vast majority of the world is not going to trade. If you think about people who are just getting started on their investment journeys or have not even reached the decision that, yes, the best place for my money long-term is the stock market, they are not going to trade. They are going to invest pound cost averaging, dollar cost averaging. That's what we optimize for. And based on everything we know about our, American, let's say, counterpart, they are more optimized toward trading. Very early on, they introduced leverage. So that's not something we do. We think leverage, using that is just not really something that helps your investing. So we are optimizing for very different type of customers, if that makes sense, more mainstream.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Customers.
Well, why do you think they had an issue getting into the UK? Because it's interesting that you guys are being successful in the UK and a company like Robinhood has not been able to. What do you see was the issue there?
Well, my own personal conclusion is that their business model would not have worked in Europe.
Why is that?
So some of their businesses, some or a good part of their revenues, as far as I understand personally, is coming from payment for order flow. That's actually not something that's allowed over here. So we optimize for very different things. You have to be European to really appreciate. So first of all, that's a regulatory hurdle. So that payment for order flow doesn't work. What we optimize for is more expanding to different markets. We are adding European stocks very, very soon. And we charge a very modest FX fee way below the incumbents. And that's actually a real good source of revenue for us and increasing, of course, with our customer numbers and the more stocks we add. You really have to adapt your business model and make it work in Europe. If that makes sense, if you want to expand in Europe, you just want to be more local.
Yeah. How are you guys, share whatever you're allowed to, but how do you guys make money primarily?
Sure. Yeah. We are absolutely transparent about how we make money. It's literally on the website, freetrade.io/pricing. Everything is there. We have the three revenue sources. So one of them is this modest FX fee that I mentioned. So every time, so we are sterling based, British pounds. So every time an investor buys a US stock like Tesla or Amazon or something, it gets converted to US dollar. So we charge a small FX fee on that. And the other main source of revenue is subscriptions, and that's what we really focus on these days. So in the UK, we have a tax efficient, tax sheltered like sort of savings account type of thing that you can use as an investment account. It's called ISA, individual savings account. That's a special type of account. I'm not extremely familiar with the US, but I think 401k might be a similar sort of structure.
Yeah.
And so for the administration of that, we charge a subscription fee that's £3 per month.
Okay.
And for the more advanced investors, we actually launched Plus. That's a premium account. You have an expanded universe. So we added very small cap companies from the London Stock Exchange, for example, junior miners or very small biotechs. So you have a bigger list of stocks. You have faster customer service, and we pay. We charge £10 per month for that.
Do you guys give access to the
interest?
Yeah, do you guys give access to the alternative investment market in London as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
So in the free plan, if you are not a Plus member, you still have access to the AIM 100. That's like the key sort of like index, the list of like the 100 like key companies from the AIM.
Yeah.
But with Plus, we give you access to the entire AIM, and we keep adding more and more. Some of the challenges with these companies is that some of them are not very liquid. So as we reach kind of like the bottom of the barrel, we sometimes struggle. So we have to work with partners to make that happen. But yeah, we already have like hundreds and hundreds of AIM stocks available. Some like with a market cap of 20.
That I can tell you that there's probably people listening to this right now where that would be appealing to, because even say some large brokerage houses like Interactive Brokers, it's very hit or miss with certain stocks on the AIM market.
Yep.
Do you do do you give access? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we are familiar with that. Sorry, go ahead, Eric. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Do you guys give access to OTC markets in the United States?
No, we actually don't. We are investigating the opportunity right now. We recognize that some really exciting companies are actually over the counter. So we find the opportunity very interesting, and we actually see a lot of demand from our customers. Some companies are very hard to find and invest in, like Tencent, Nintendo, CD Projekt, a big Polish video game developer. So we definitely investigate the opportunity to add OTC stocks.
Interesting. If I was using, make the pitch to me. Let's say I'm just an individual investor. I'm buying and selling stocks on occasion. I'm currently using Robinhood. What would be your pitch to me of why I should switch from Robinhood to your platform?
The number one disclaimer before I make this pitch, Eric, is that you have to be a UK resident.
Okay, got it.
And soon enough we'll expand to Europe, so you only have to be an EU resident.
Got it. Okay, so that makes a big difference right there. Okay, yeah. I
realize a lot of your listeners probably won't be able to benefit from Freetrade, but here is the
there's
pitch.
A lot that will. We have a lot of UK listeners too. So
right. I bet I'm one of them now.
Yeah, thank you.
So here's the pitch. With Freetrade, you can basically, your investments are with a broker that has your back. We don't try and implement features, money-making features that are at the detriment of our customers. That's one of the reasons why we don't offer features like leverage. We just don't think that's a product that has a potential to contribute to your to better financial outcomes. Internally, what we focus on and what's soon going to be our North Star is helping people achieve better financial outcomes. That's what our mission is going to be around. That's what the vision is. So basically, we are not doing Freetrade. We are not running Freetrade to be a money-making machine. Yes, you can make a lot of money in this industry. It's great. It's always a good incentive to build this company. But really, what we'd like to achieve is to get everyone investing, because that's healthy. You are already an investor. You may not recognize. You invest your time. Spend it with your loved ones. Get return of better relationships. You keep your cash at your bank account, right? You are already an investor.
Yeah.
But you can be a conscious investor and start investing in the wealth creation of the world, right? $1 trillion companies get created, and not too many people benefit from that wealth creation. So that's what we'd like to achieve with Freetrade, that you basically have access to that wealth creation, and you achieve better financial outcomes. I realize it's somewhat of a high level pitch, but we are just coming from it from a sort of very European, very UK, kind of like transparent
I think that's
perspective.
great. I think that's great. Well, hey, Victor, I wish you the best. Is there anything that, before I let you go, is there anything that we haven't covered that you're like, ooh, we just need to discuss this one more thing? Is there anything like that, or?
Well, for our UK listeners, one more thing that I can mention that's going to be very specific to your UK listeners. I apologize to everyone based in the US and elsewhere. We are going to launch pensions. So in the UK, there's a fantastic type of account. It's the self-invested personal pension. SIP is the abbreviation. Your UK listeners would know. We are going to launch that very, very soon in the coming weeks. So just a heads up. We are going to have a wait list. And basically what we decided to do is if you sign up for the wait list and you open an account and fund that account, you will receive a free share that has the chance to be very valuable. It's still going to be a random pool, but based on how much money you transfer from other pensions, you have the chance to receive a free share up to an Amazon, up to an Alphabet. So it's going to be a very exciting promotion.
Do
hopefully
you
that's
have
okay to share
some kind of link that I could put in the show notes for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Freetrade.io/SIP. That's SIPP.
Okay, great.
That's the link. I appreciate that greatly, Eric.
Of course.
That's really helpful.
Well, Victor, I wish you and your team much success in building this out. It's really cool what you guys have been creating. And, if people want to check out the site, it's freetrade.io.
Exactly. Thanks for the opportunity, Eric. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Likewise, my pleasure. All right, Victor. Well, have a great rest of your day and good luck.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot, Eric.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye.